everyone, welcome back to another movie of the week, and the movie this week was Home Alone 2, Something with New York, which I thought it was just Home Alone 2, but it's like something Escaped New York, I don't know, from 1992, so if you haven't watched it, watch it now. If you're new to movie of the week, in 2024, I'm doing franchises and roots and things with elements, so we did the first Home Alone movie from 1990 and did that video, so watch that movie and watch that video first, and then watch this movie and watch this video. But yeah, I really thought it was Home Alone 2. I don't know what all the other name is. I think that's like their way of, you know, saying, because technically he's not home. Like, he's in New York. Also, to mention that this is our last movie of the week for 2024, and then we'll do a 2025. Well, we'll do 2025, and I think I talked about it a little bit in my other videos, but I'll also talk a little bit at the end of this video what 2025 is about, because obviously we're not going to continue franchises and roots and things to this element. That was all 2024. So I think always with sequels. Always with sequels. And if you watch any of my other videos this year, I always talk about it like, why did they do a sequel? And a lot of times, if they do a sequel, then they should just do another movie and make it a trilogy. And I guess this one technically wasn't a trilogy. There's like other versions or other reboots, or people try to do other things, but it's like the first and the second movie are really the two movies. And this is what I'm guessing is that the first one was so successful, was so great, that they were like, let's try to do a second one. And they probably thought like, I don't know if we could do a third one, but we might as well capitalize off this and try to do a second one, which a lot of times when franchisers or whatever try to do that, it's not good. It's not good, but I feel like this works. And it's kind of crazy too, like how they came up. Well, I think I talked about it in my last video, like whoever pitched this original Home Alone, like they probably thought they were crazy, but it somehow worked. And then whoever probably pitched Home Alone 2, they probably also thought you were crazy. Like, how could you, whatever. So obviously it didn't make sense if he was Home Alone again in Chicago. You got to change it up. So they picked another city, and New York is, you know, a big city. And I actually also really love that they filmed it in New York, because as a New Yorker, when stuff is filmed in New York, but when things take place in New York, but it's actually not filmed in New York, like I can clearly see, I can clearly tell. And so I'm always very appreciative of movies and TV shows that take place in New York that are filmed in New York. And they also had like a really stacked cast, like the guy from Clue, which I also forgot his name. He was like the guy from the hotel. Anyway, so it actually follows a lot of the same formula. I mean, the whole like him getting in a fight with his family, and then obviously like they had to have something happen with the plane. Like that's how it had to happen. And again, this is like before 9/11, and it's just crazy like that just happened, and he didn't realize sooner. He was on the wrong plane, and they didn't realize sooner, especially with what happened last time. Like, come on. But it had to be for the movie. It's in New York, and they had to bring the villains from the first one. And of course, the villains just got out of jail. They escaped, and they come to the exact same city he is at. He was staying at the Plaza Hotel, which if you didn't know is like a really, really fancy hotel. Like, that's a legit hotel, and it's really fancy, and I don't know like why they like let him. Well, I don't know the story behind that. Like, sometimes I don't know, maybe they did it because they get more press and they get like more people coming to see the hotel because it was in the movie. I don't know. Also recently for me, not recently for you guys because you'll watch this at the end of December, but Donald Trump was reelected. No words. But he's in this movie. He's in this scene, and it's so crazy too because like I knew it was coming, and like I'm like, oh my god, he just got elected like 2 days ago, and now I have to watch this movie. And part of me like almost didn't want to watch the movie, even though I knew I had to do it movie of the week because I was like you know in mourning last week. But anyway, I watched the movie. I missed his scene. Because sometimes I can't lie, guys. I can't lie. I've watched all these movies before. So, like, sometimes I go on my phone, but, like, I'm paying attention. But, like, you know, it's not like he has a full scene. He has, like, one line or something. So I did miss it, unless they cut it out. I don't think they cut it out. I think I missed it. I think I missed it. But it's good that I missed it. And it wasn't like, oh, I saw him appear on screen and it's like, I gotta go on my phone. Like, I legit was on my phone and missed it. So there you go. But yeah, it had a lot of the same elements. So the villains were the same. And I guess all the people at the hotel kind of was like an added element. And he was using the same thing with like the recordings and the video, and he's like really smart. Like I think he's even smarter in this movie, which makes sense because he's, well, I feel like 2 years older, but he was a year older, so he was like, you know, smarter and knows more. And I feel like he definitely shows that, like, he's a smart kid. Like I wasn't this smart as a kid. Had that like bird lady is kind of like the scary neighbor that they had in the last movie, so it's kind of, they follow, it's interesting because I talked about with movie franchise, or not movie franchises, action franchises, they kind of follow the same formula, but they kind of did the same thing here. They like saw what worked and they did kind of the same thing, but like did it a little bit different. There was a lot of Central Park here, which I love Central Park. Like I feel like always when people think of New York, they think of Times Square. Times Square is so crazy. I was like even like on the edge of Times Square, like 47th Street this past weekend, and I was like overwhelmed. Like I hate Times Square. I always love Central Park more as like a place to be and whatever, but they use Central Park like a little bit too much that I was like I know Central Park is huge and like whatever, and I love Central Park, but it was just kind of like overused. I don't know. So we had to save the day, and he definitely like, he set up traps at his uncle's place, which is kind of like when did he have time to do that? I don't know, unless that I was on my phone again and I missed it. Maybe I did, because again, like I've watched this movie a lot of times, but like I've watched the first one more than I've watched the second one, and so I don't remember details as much with the second one. Like all the traps were like even crazier. Like this kid's smart with his traps. Oh my god. Anyway, his family made it back to New York. Like I saw comments on Letterboxd like Child Protective Services. Like it's absolutely insane that they allow this to happen again. And then when he's home, they're like, oh my god, lovey-dovey, like you're home. I actually cried when the mom found him at Rockefeller Center. I cried though, because like, I don't know, sometimes I get emotional. But then at the end, he was like, oh, let me take a present out to the bird lady, and they just let him go. Like you gotta watch this kid. What are you doing? So anyway, I just feel like the writers did a really great job, because it's like, first off, the original idea, movie idea is a crazy idea, and then to be able to come up with an idea that worked as a sequel that also is kind of crazy out there, but it actually worked. It actually worked. It's like so hard to do. It's so hard to do, and so I give them props for it. And it is a good classic kids movie, and so if this is your first time watching it, I'm thankful you watched it. And you know, I do feel like the first one's still a little bit better. It's more iconic, it's more classic, but I feel like the second one did a really good job, because a lot of times sequels are not good. They're not good, and I give them props for being a good sequel. So we're gonna end it here, so comment below your thoughts on Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2, whatever in New York, I don't know. And so if you didn't know, in 2025 we're doing different versions of romance movies, because there's so many different versions out there. There's so much romance movies. There's so much to talk about. So the first movie we're actually going to do is Brokeback Mountain from 2005. So comment below your thoughts about Home Alone and watch Brokeback Mountain for next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.